Hey, we're going to be doing the Village of Kensington, a very prestigious location on the Great Neck Peninsula. And there's the private Kensington Police. And there's one of the very nice gazebos that you can sit, read, relax, listen to music. And we're going to go to take a look at the architecture. This is where W.C. Fields, Groucho Marx used to live. That's the village hall over there. All the legal matters are dealt with. I'm going to go across the street. A lot of famous people used to live in Great Neck, especially those actors and actresses. Fanny Brice, Alan King, who lived in Kings Point. Sid Caesar also lived in Kings Point. As you can see, the lush vegetation here. Again, this is not a cookie cutter village. The architecture is pretty unique. And you'll see as we pass some of these houses, but as I mentioned the other day, schools were rated by Niche magazine as the #1 in the state. We have 2 high schools, and we have 3 junior high schools. Actually, I'm sorry, 2 junior high schools. And we have 4 elementary schools. Kennedy, Saddle Rock, Baker Hill, and also the elementary school on Jason Avenue, which is just south of Northern Boulevard. We're just walking around. I'm going to take a little bit of a shortcut here. See, there's some decent open space. Again, we have colonials, splanches, splits, high ranches, and as I mentioned the other day, we have a number of houses that are from the 1920s, 1930s. I have to check, but I think that was either W.C. Fields or Groucho Marx house back in the 30s. Look at that maple. Beautiful. Yeah, who had a 3-car garage back then? Only the wealthiest. I believe you need 10,000 square feet to build another house. I don't think that lot is large enough, but you never know. What they do today is they're knocking down houses and building either larger or real decent sized homes. There's something back from the 30s. And in between you have houses that were built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And they're pretty strict here. They don't want something that doesn't necessarily blend in. There's a beautiful house. But as I've mentioned, choices are numerous. Although the inventory is at a 50-year low right now, when a house does come on the market and it's priced appropriately, it gets sold. Again, 90% plus of whatever listings are out there are $1 million or more. Taxes can range from $12,000 to $40,000 and up, depending on what village you're in. There is a village we're going to visit. The taxes on a few houses are over 150 to 250,000. There's a little private drive there. There's a nice, decent sized house. It's going to be a hot one today. Probably around 90, but it'll feel like over 100. So I'm getting out early in the morning to get my video done. Kensington was established many, many years ago. Like all the villages, some of them have their own private police force. Kensington does, Great Neck Estates does, Kings Point does. Even Kings Point has cameras all over the place that captures your license plate number. So anybody that wants to go and rob somebody, they better not be driving a car because they're all registered in their system. There's an old house. It looks like from the late 20s, early 30s. Yeah, you can't, nobody builds a stucco house anymore, which has lathing, wire lathing, first strips, cement. You're upstairs in the bathroom. Actually, nobody can really hear you. This probably was built in the 50s or 60s. There's some beautiful tiger lilies. There's another brand new house that was built. Here's another little dead-end street. If you have money, this is the place to move to. That's another new house. And there's another old house. Take a little shortcut this way. Go over to one of the other streets. There's another house built late 20s, early 30s. There's a little ornament, or whatever you want to call that statue. Beautiful. Beautiful homes in this area. Actually, there's another house there. Older. That looks like a Mediterranean home. Like a Georgian colonial. Yeah, when you come into town and you go through these villages, besides the architecture, prices obviously can range. But like I said, 90% of the listings are $1 million or more. but it all depends on your budget, what you want to spend. That looks like a fairly new home. That looks like a new home also. This is more of an older home here. It looks like it was built in the 30s. This looks like it was built in the 50s or early 60s. Colonial. I don't know if that's a private residence, maybe attached to this house right next door, which I think it is. There's another late 1920s, early 30s home. And there's a classic home. Beautiful designs on the outside. Nice colonial with nice wood decoration on the outside. Most of the houses, when they're built, it's usually brick or some kind of modern stucco. They call drive it. They don't keep the wooden structure. So over time, a good portion of the older houses will be gone, unless it's a landmark property where they can never knock it down. They can do whatever they want on the inside. Here's one that's an older one. Looks like somebody bought it, and they may be doing interior work. Center Hall Colonial. There's a Tudor. Usually Tudors have that wood embedded in the outside stucco. Looks like a Center Hall Colonial. We'll walk up this way. We're on a street called Gilchrist Road, which kind of leads into town. It's a beautiful home. All brick. And most everybody, when they put a new roof in, unless it's a tile roof, which some people do, almost everybody uses the architectural style roof, which is usually a 40-year roof. As you can see, very lush, very mature landscapes. There are plenty of developments out on Long Island that don't have this type of vegetation because it's an old town. I think it was established in 1644, according to the sign at Stepping Stone Park. It used to be called Madman's Neck, and a lot of Indian tribes used to live here. Yeah. Nice screening for privacy. There's another older house. that somebody must have redone when they moved in or prior to them moving in. Beautiful. You can't recreate this type of architecture unless you have blank checks. This is one of my favorite houses. 3-car garage. So you know somebody very wealthy back in the 20s who may have built this. I mean, having one car was considered wealthy, but having a 3-car garage, we could call them the ultra rich. Amazing. Let's walk back the other way. Yeah, I watched them rebuild this probably over 10 years ago. And I knew they weren't going to knock it down, but some of these houses should be landmarked so we keep the character of the area and keep those styles for future generations. I mean, in Europe, when I was in Madrid, Spain, with my realtor global committee, we saw places that were 700-800 years old. And sometimes we can't just keep houses for more than 50 years. So, oh, look at the applique on the outside. Look at those designs. Beautiful. So I think there's a segment of the population and the local village trustees that would rather not see homes knocked down. All depends on the condition. But unless they're landmarked, I guess somebody can knock down a house as long as what they're going to put up blends in the area. That's the key. Other villages, you can put up quite a lot of different varied type of styles, and they're fine with that. But I think Kensington is a more classic area where the styles are throwback to the 20s and 30s, and they want to keep that general look without changing it too drastically. Yeah, that looks like they changed the outside. I don't know if that's new. It looks like a new house. But then going across the street is one of the original houses. There's another colonial. This looks like a colonial. Could be a Mediterranean without going in the inside. It's a little bit more challenging to figure that out. This looks like a Georgian colonial. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful homes. I do live in Great Neck. I've been here for way over half a century, so I know the town very well. Looks like he's pressure washing the walkway. Another colonial. Nice 2-car garage, all brick colonial. Look at these hydrangeas. Beautiful. And patience. I used to do landscape design, so I'm somewhat into the landscaping aspect of homes. Look at that Japanese maple. Beautiful. The roses over there. And this is called the euonymus, a variegated euonymus. Marigolds. That's barberry. Here's another house that either was renovated or they used that modern stucco called Drive It. Ilex. I think that's a sufficient tour of Kensington to give you a feel of the architecture and the location. Watch out for the next one, and if you like this one, click on the next video and it will take you to another village. You have a great day.